A few years ago, David Cobb visited Athens and talked about corporate control of our institutions in the United States and the problems that were resulting. Here is a clip from one of those talks that helped energize us.
The United States is not a democracy, and I'll tell you something further. Part of the problem is because these large transnational corporations, and I don't mean the mom and pops, I don't mean those of you who may be, I'm talking about the huge mega corporations of today. Corporations are no longer merely exercising power. They are ruling us. As surely as masters once ruled their slaves, as surely as kings once ruled subjects, unelected and unaccountable corporate CEOs are ruling us because they are making the fundamental public policy decisions that affect our lives. They are making the decisions about how much toxins will be spewed into the air that we all have to collectively breathe, or the water that we all have to drink from. They're making the decisions about what our transportation choices will be. They're making the decisions about what our healthcare options will be, or evermore what they won't be. They're making the decisions about whether this country goes to war or not.
He proposed a solution to this problem and invited individuals to join Move to Amend, a national movement to amend the Constitution of the United States to make clear that corporations are not persons protected by the Constitution and that money does not equal free speech. Some of us who attended his first talk were still in shock from the Supreme Court ruling on Citizens United that opened the floodgates for unlimited amounts of money to flow into elections from corporations and the very wealthy. Some of us were already working to stop corporate destruction of the environment and to reduce corporate control over agriculture, healthcare, energy, and foreign policy. Others were actively opposing corporate and state policies that threatened the land, water, and our community-based food and energy alternatives. Many of us were questioning whether our efforts were really making a difference. All of us shared concerns about increased control by corporations over our lives and our communities. In the discussions that followed, participants soon came to realize that the problem of corporate control is more serious than any one of us had realized, and that each of us had only a part of that information. A diverse group of citizens in southeastern Ohio formed Democracy Over Corporations, referred to as DOC, to support the work of Move to Amend, to research and better understand the extent of corporate control, and to find ways to actively promote democracy. What has DOC been doing? During the last 4 years, DOC members have been researching and educating ourselves about the negative effects of unrestrained corporate power in virtually every aspect of our lives. We've been sharing this information with others. DOC holds monthly meetings in which we educate each other. DOC maintains an electronic mailing list to notify persons of future meetings and interesting developments. Presentations are periodically made to community groups on invitation. A website, democracyovercorporations.org, is available with information on DOC's purpose and activities. A video of David Cobb's talk on Democracy Over Corporations is available there. Information tables about DOC are set up at community events. Information affecting public policy is provided to elected officials and candidates running for public office. Public presentations and events are held on significant topics. On climate change solutions, DOC hosted a public showing of the documentary Carbon Nation, followed by a commentary by local inventor William Beal. Debbie Silverstein of the Ohio Single Payer Network explained the future of health care, including corporate problems and possible solutions. Greg Coleridge of the Northeast Ohio American Friends Service Committee explained how the debt-based money system created by private corporations is unstable and systematically transfers wealth from the many to the few. John Spahn, law director of Mansfield, Ohio, discussed the legal implications of citizens banning fracking activities in their communities. DOC affiliated with Move to Amend. At DOC's initiative, Athens City Council and the Democratic Central Committees of Athens, Morgan, Gallia, and Vinton counties passed resolutions supporting Move to Amend's proposed constitutional amendment.
DOC members helped launch the Ohio Community Rights Network, calling for protection of the right to local self-government. A Bill of Rights committee was formed in Athens to place on the ballot an ordinance to protect Athens City's water supply. The ordinance was passed by a majority of 78% in November. In December, a democracy school was held in Albany, Ohio, to train 29 additional citizens to organize similar ballot initiatives. DOC member Greg Howard ran for Congress.
Promoting information that I've been learning as a member of DOC, I ran for Congress in the 6th Ohio District primary. Sharing these ideas with community groups for only 2 months and spending less than $5,000, I received 27% of the vote. This wider acceptance of DOC's information affirms how receptive the general public is to the important information DOC is learning. My website, greghowardforcongress.com, is an educational project promoting solutions discovered through the research of DOC members.
What have DOC members learned, and how are they responding? Members of DOC have learned that megacorporations dominate or control major policy decisions made in every economic and political institution in the United States. They also define and limit choices made in public education, research institutions, foreign policy, and national and state elections. Through their control of the media, they restrict accurate news and distort public policy discussions. We have identified 4 fundamental ways by which corporations undermine democracy. Corporate personhood rights. Corporations are a legitimate and important part of our economic and social system, but should not determine public policy. They are given permission from the state to exist via corporate charters on the grounds that they will provide goods and services to meet the needs and wants of people. The corporate model is the way we organize both for-profit and non-profit activities. Early in U.S. history, corporations were viewed as potential threats to democracy and had no constitutional protections. Corporations doing legitimate business and serving the public do not need constitutional protections. However, megacorporations have corrupted judges and the legal system to declare that corporations are protected as persons under the U.S. Constitution. Hiding behind constitutional protections, corporations have been able to infiltrate government agencies, prevent or delay government inspections of health and safety violations, hide illegal activities, undermine local economic development, misinform consumers about the dangers of their products and services, buy elections and escape responsibility for the extensive environmental destruction and human sickness and death they cause. Corporations have used constitutional protection that they have been inappropriately given by the courts to take over government and to make government serve their financial interests rather than the interests of the country and of its people. Corporate money should be kept out of elections so that politicians can be responsible solely to the citizens they represent. To make that possible, a constitutional amendment is essential. One that specifies that corporations do not and never were intended to have constitutional rights, and that money is not speech. DOC members continue to work with Move to Amend to pass such a constitutional amendment to end corporate personhood and remove big money from elections. Elected officials, political organizations, and community groups are being educated about this effort and assisted in wording resolutions for discussion and vote in their communities and their governing bodies.
Corporate control of our state and national governments. Using well-funded lobbies, lawyers, and politicians, megacorporations have come to dominate our departments of government, setting up regulatory agencies and drafting regulations that give themselves legal permission to extract community resources and to destroy the environment. They have put into place a complex layering of laws to strip citizens of their legal rights to govern their own communities and develop a sustainable future. Corporate lobbies are a threat to government by the people. The revolving door between corporations and governmental agencies must be closed. When government regulation is actually required, it belongs in the hands of communities affected by the regulations. Protection of the land, air, water, and individual liberties are fundamental rights of local communities. Governments have a duty to protect those rights on behalf of their citizens. When governments fail to protect the rights of people and the environment on which those people depend, the citizens have the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish those governments in order to attain a sustainable future. DOC members are committed to exercising our constitutional and inalienable rights to say no to politicians who serve corporate interests at the expense of public interest, and to say no to so-called corporate rights. Working with the Ohio Community Rights Network, DOC members are recruiting and training citizens in Athens, Meigs, and Vinton counties to write and pass county charters to secure the right of self-government and to pass laws to protect the health and safety of citizens and the natural environment. These efforts assert the right of local community members to define the type of economic development they want and to deny that right to corporations and corporate-funded politicians.
Corporate control of our monetary system. The term monetary system refers to the way in which money is created and circulated in the economy. Our current monetary system is producing enormous debt. Federal, state, and local governments are squeezed by debt, as are families, businesses, and students. Just what is the economy? The economy is exchange of goods and services among people, such as food for fuel and labor for rent. But we seldom barter, trading one thing for another. Instead, we use money. But where does this money come from? Nations generate money in two ways. Governments create money as money, or governments give banks the authority to create money as credit, loaning it into circulation. Let's look at these two options. When banks create money as credit, banks loan money into circulation. That money is then paid back to the bank over time, along with interest. In this way, more money is taken out of the economy by banks than is put in. But as long as lending stays ahead of repayment, the money supply grows and times are good. Even when times are good, debt is growing, since all of the money in the economy is on loan. Through interest payments, money creation by banks transfers money from borrowers to lenders, distributing wealth from the many to the few. When loan making fails to stay ahead of repayment rates, the banks take money out of the system faster than they put it in, and the money supply shrinks. Shrinkage of the money supply causes the economy to fall into recession or depression, as it did in 1929, 2008, and many times in between. Business profits fall, jobs are lost, and the stability of the whole economy is threatened. This is the bust phase of the boom and bust business cycle, the inevitable result of money created as credit. When governments exercise their sovereign right to create money, indeed an unfulfilled constitutional responsibility in the United States, the money is spent directly into the economy, producing jobs to build and repair infrastructure, and jobs that provide high-quality government services. People in those jobs spend money into the private sector, allowing the entire economy to grow. When government creates money, the rate of money creation is tied to the rate of growth of the real economy, eliminating boom and bust cycles. No debt is involved with money creation. Neither national debt nor personal debt increase, and government can begin to pay down the current national debt. So which system of money creation is better? A system of government-created money, which puts debt-free money into the economy as a public asset? Or a system of bank credit in which all money is on loan as a public liability, generating ever-increasing debt levels? Since the 1913 adoption of the Federal Reserve System, money in the United States has been created by banks. DOC members believe that the current bank-controlled system is not democratic, it favors the few, and is not sustainable. For economic stability, Congress must take back control of our nation's monetary system. The National Emergency Employment Defense Act, introduced into Congress in 2012, proposes to shift money creation from banks to the government, which will provide government with the resources to invest in the nation's infrastructure, to create good jobs, and reduce or eliminate federal debt. DOC members are working with the American Monetary Institute on this issue.
Corporate consolidation of media and manipulation of public opinion. All major TV and radio stations, newspapers, and magazines are owned directly by a few megacorporations. Corporate advertising influences mainstream programming and the selection of news content. Public policy discussions and campaign advertising reflect the viewpoints of corporations, not people in local communities. Corporately financed national and state politicians, few of whom have any background in education, set school standards. Textbooks create a false reality of political and economic struggles in the United States and the world. They systematically omit vital information about the harmful effects of corporate activities and about people's struggles for democracy and independence from corporate control of their institutions. Corporations heavily influence research choices in schools of agriculture, medicine, economics, and finance. Though much of this research is paid for by taxpayers, it rarely provides citizens with the information they need to evaluate the safety of corporate activities and products or develop sustainable products for local communities. DOC members believe that the media must be free of corporate control in the reporting of news and public policy discussions. The media should offer opportunities for wide public discussion and all public policy issues. Until the media is free of corporate control, local community groups, including DOC, must promote discussion of public policy issues. Based on the amazing information that members are learning, DOC has an important story to tell. A story that corporate-controlled media chooses to exclude. Our story is about how megacorporations are causing the problems we have, that solutions already exist, and that people working together can make the changes that are so badly needed. To increase our ability to promote discussion of public policy, members of DOC, with the help of our friends in the wider community, are preparing educational videos to provide information in easy-to-obtain and learner-friendly formats. Videos will be suitable for individuals, families, groups, classrooms, and the internet. They will be accessible for free on our website and on the internet. They will also be available on DVD for purchase at low cost. The first two videos have been completed and are now located on our website. More videos are in production and will soon be available. A series of 7 more videos will discuss the major economic and political institutions that megacorporations are controlling. These videos will include instructional guides to help promote public discussion and empower citizens to make changes. These 7 videos will go beyond existing single-issue videos to identify the root causes of our problems and provide solutions people can implement. Single-issue efforts, as important as they are often discouraging and exhausting as corporate interests continue to win. DOC seeks to support these issues by reframing them in a way that confronts corporate control on a powerful single front: people's constitutional rights.
DOC's commitment to the future. In DOC, we continue to study the complex issues relating to democracy and corporate power. But learning needs to merge with action. Organizing needs to cross divisions that often separate people: class, age, race, political parties, and liberal, conservative, radical viewpoints. DOC believes that members of all communities want clean air, water, and land, and they want to promote local economic development that provides a living wage. To reclaim our democracy, we will need to use it. DOC members are committed to making decisions in ways consistent with democratic principles, in public, where those affected by governing decisions are the ones who make them. Majority rule works best when fully informed by open debate, which includes minority opinions. All points of view must be voiced and considered so that decisions formalized through voting are intelligent solutions to real problems. The obstacles to democracy are formidable, but DOC members believe that informed, concerned, and well-organized people are more powerful than all the corporate money and their well-paid lawyers, lobbyists, and politicians. The cost of doing nothing has simply become higher than the cost of taking action. Therefore, we declare independence from corporate control over the economic and political activities in our communities, and are working to restore democracy and sustainability. As we work together to end corporate control in government and in our lives, we must recognize that important gains made at local levels are not enough. For our communities to be sustainable, we need to finish the American Revolution, making people sovereign, with the right to regulate corporations and the power to replace leaders not serving the public interest. Would you like to help finish the American Revolution? If you believe that people, not corporations, should govern their communities, we would like to work with you. Would you like to know more about democracy over corporations? Our website, democracyovercorporations.org, includes information about the organization and its activities. Would you like to invite someone from DOC to talk to your group or have a DOC information table at your event? If you are already working on one or more of the same issues, we would like to explore with you ways to make our efforts more effective together. You can help us spread this vital information to more people by making a financial contribution to support one or more of these projects. All DOC members are volunteers, but money is needed to pay for supplies for DOC's educational work and video production costs. Contributions of all sizes will help advance DOC's work. You can make a check payable to Appalachian Peace and Justice Network. Note on the check that it is for DOC and send it to Democracy Over Corporations in care of APJN, 18 North College Street, Athens, Ohio, 45701. You can contact us at democracyovercorporations@gmail.com or write to us in care of APJN, 18 North College Street, Athens, Ohio, 45701. Thank you for your interest in Democracy Over Corporations and all that you are already doing to protect our planet, for our children and to return democracy to our institutions and our communities. The members of Democracy Over Corporations look forward to working with you.